Okay, I finished my chips and salsa. I got a drink. My head is all cooled off from the... Viking helmet. Ivalon wants to run a Call of Cthulhu game. So, Ivalon, have you worked on being able to describe the players entering a round room that is actually 362 degrees? Not in temperature. I'm talking about in roundness. Alright, we're going to go into the Age of Sail music now. We have a bit of a nautical theme brewing and building. Yeah, you think the temperature's more scary? But still, can you conceptualize a circle that's 362 degrees around? Alright, it's time to come back, and laws on me, hopefully you're still around. Oh, but it is. It has to be a circle. There's nothing else it could be. And yet it's 362 degrees around. Hello! J'arrive! Tonight's salsa was extra yummy. If you like salsa, hashtag not sponsored, hashtag I just eat salsa a lot. This is really good stuff. I would suggest, if you like green salsa that's not going to burn you too bad, but leave a nice, it's a nice lingering. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. You're right, mathematically, yes, 362 degrees. You got to work on that. Can you describe a room that's 362 degrees around? And if you can, you are ready for Call of Cthulhu. Okay. I don't think I have any embarrassing salsa stuck in my facial hair here. We are going to move into our second character of the evening. Built from the ground up. Built with storyline and background in mind first, before numbers. Is the door slightly ajar? It could be. It could be going through some weird transformation, but only a little bit. Alright, first things first. As Professor Oak always asks, are you a boy or are you a girl? Let's find out with a percentile roll. 1 to 45 is male. I'm sorry, female. 46 to 90 is male. 91 to 100, and we have a multi-class character. 58, we have a male this time. Now, we're going to roll a d10 to determine which race he is. 9. A tiefling. Now, tieflings in the core books do not have subraces, though they will be getting some. So what we do is, as it's kind of a half human, half fiend, I roll odds or evens to determine, do they favor their fiendish heritage or do they favor their human heritage. And that could reflect itself in how your tiefling looks, or that could reflect itself in a demeanor. If we're stuck on a decision about the person's personality, background, or history, it could act as a tiebreaker. So, odds or evens, let's roll it on a d10. Evens. So in this case, we are favoring our fiendish side. There we go. Yes, we have Tiefling Clark. Now, what is his alignment? 2 percentile will solve this conundrum. 1 for each of the alignment axes. 3928. Good. Another lawful good character. We don't have to worry about any of the stuff about drow or anti-paladins or whatever. Now his level. We're going to determine that with a 1 percentile roll. 85, we're going to be building a level 14 character. That means he's going to get 3 ASIs or stat bumps. He's going to be getting 1 at 4, 8, and 12. Let's determine how many of those he's going to take as feats, if any. That'll be also a percentile roll. 7, none. We're going straight stat bumps with this character. Clark, not like this. What is his background? Well, we have a 13-sided die that is going to answer that for us. 1. An Acolyte. There is no kind of origin randomizer, so we're just going to develop as placeholders 2 personality traits with D8s and the 3 other aspects to the background with D6s. An ideal, a bond, and a flaw. Here we go. Scroll down to page 2. Dun, dun, dun. Here's our placeholders. 1 and 6. What do they mean? Right now, it doesn't matter. We're building the outline of the character, and we're going to paint the character in the outline when we finish it. 4, 1, and 2. Excellent. What is his class? Right? Oh, normally, you say, well, I have an elven paladin, and those are, the first things you describe. As we're generating, look, you were something before you were a barbarian. What did you do before you refined yourself to this point? Let's roll a d12 and find out here. Big golden button right here, ready to be pushed. 12. Aha, we have a wizard. There are 8 types of wizard specialties. Let's roll a d8 and find out which one he is. 8. Transmutation. There we go. Anyone ever have a Devati player in their game? Asks Tycho. I don't know what that is. Hey, Derek, it's good to see you. Transmutation, if we are going with a nautical theme, transmutation can be very valuable to have. Because that's gonna let you do things like grow gills and be able to breathe underwater. Okay, just a wee little bit more information to randomly generate. Tieflings start at 4 foot 9 inches, and we're gonna add their 2d8 to that. Oh, we're gonna add 2 inches. So we have a bit of a short tiefling. He's 4 foot 11. We're going to take the same 2 and multiply it by 2d4 pounds. We're adding 8 pounds to 110. So he wakes up in the morning, he's just in his jammy jams, and without a backpack or his wizard hat or anything else, he's 118 pounds. Now, let's determine how old he is. We have a random distribution here for a percentile die. 47. Okay, he is an adult. That is column 3. So here's column 3. Now we come over to Tiefling. Adult is between 26 and 45 years old in their life cycle. That's going to be a D20. Hit it. 7. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So, as we're building the character, we have to consider he's 32 years old. He is an adult. We are finished with our random number generation. We have a solid outline of our character. Now it's time to fill him in and give him personality. Create his story. And of course, we're starting at Chapter 4 backgrounds. Let's see. Ivlon says, did some work on your corner of Mesotopia. That is very true. Also, someone wants me to run a Cthulhu one-shot. How do I get in on this? Exclaims Derek. Tycho, Devati are a strange race of humanoid creatures found in small enclaves scattered throughout the world and across the plains. All Devati are born identical twins, with the pair sharing a single soul between them. Devati lore holds that their souls are so powerful that a single mortal vessel is too weak to contain them, thus their minds occupy two bodies. The Devati represents a radical new addition to the rules, as this race allows you to play a pair of twins. The rules are balanced against the core races, but this type of creature has no precedent in D&D history. Yep, 32 years young, Laws. Well, I can't say that I haven't run for that as a player character. I did have one of my players develop a race of effectively sentient oozes that act as a collective consciousness of the world. They go out and they learn things, and then they all kind of get back together and form a in like an ooze colony. It was very interesting. It was a very interesting race. All right, Acolyte is right here at the beginning. A for Acolyte. Is our Dragonborn is somewhere in here. Yeah, romantic, kind of like that. They just have a memory, and then they'll bring back all their information from where they traveled back to the colony, and they'll share it, and then they'll go back out and get more information. You have spent your entire life in the service of a temple for a specific god or pantheon. You act as an intermediary between the realm of the holy and mortal world. So we are not clerics, but we can do all of the more mundane clerical tasks. We are going to get skill proficiencies in insight and religion. We're going to get 2 languages of our choice. That means we get Common, Infernal, and 2 others. Which your DM might say, if you want to learn Infernal, Primordial, Celestial, something with more of a religious take or a planar take, he or she might open those options up to you. Equipment, a holy symbol, a prayer book or a prayer wheel, five sticks of incense, vestments, common clothes, and a belt pouch with 15 gold. Not too shabby, eh? Feature Shelter of the Faithful. As an acolyte, you command the respect of those who share your faith, and you can perform the religious ceremonies to your deity. You and your adventuring companions can expect to receive free healing and care at a temple, shrine, or other established presence of your faith, though you must provide any material components needed for spells. Those who share your religion will support you, but only you, at a modest lifestyle. And you might also have ties and so forth. If you need me to keep this up so you can read it, let me know. Otherwise, that's the gist. Your background will always give you something to help make living and or traveling through the world a little easier. Because you've done something. You have a profession. You are skilled at something besides being an adventurer. Alright, his personality traits. Oh, Macabre Derek is, ever have that say whenever member of staff refers to you as decolonizer? That was my day in a nutshell. Oh, wait, did you mean ever have that day when every member of staff? Hey, am I reading that correctly? Okay. Ever have that day when every member of staff refers to you as decolonizer? I don't know if I've ever been called that. Personality trait 1. I idolize a particular hero of my faith and constantly refer to that person's deeds and example. Next is 6. I am tolerant or intolerant of other faiths and respect or condemn the worship of other gods. There we go. I just put or opposite. No problem, Derek. I haven't seen Black Panther yet, so unfortunately, went over my head. Ideals, number 4. Power. I hope to one day rise to the top of my faith's religious hierarchy. Lawful. Now, we did roll lawful good, but any of these ideals can still work. You can roll an evil ideal like we did with our last character, and it can still work within her lawful good framework. What is his bond? 1. I would die to recover an ancient relic of my faith that was lost long ago. Well, if we want to make a nautical adventure this week, he is a transmutation wizard. He can allow us to breathe underwater, so maybe it turns into a bit of an underwater adventure also, and we can explore those concepts. Maybe something of his faith sunk. His flaw, because we're all flawed creatures, is number 2. I put too much trust in those who wield power within my temple's hierarchy. Aha, more of a blind faith. Well, I'm grateful of my work that it's not PG or politically correct and it's all in good fun. Oh. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, there's our background. We've filled him in a little bit more. Laws on me, if is our process working for you? I mean, you said that you enjoy a story-based character. Look, we have no statistical numbers. I mean, well, if you want to count like level 14 or whatever. But we are going for who this character is first, and then what he does, because what he does is going to be based on who he is. Are you finding that this method for character creation is going along with your well, I mean, you said you're an English major. Is this going along with your style? Are you digging it? Hey, Cheese It Up, welcome. Well, all the better for you to see what we're doing. And feel free, Cheese It Up Laws, if you have questions on what we're doing, if you don't know what a term means, because I'm putting in placeholder names. But they're labeled. Let me know and I'll make sure to go to it. It's an awesome process. I'm trying to learn it, and you really like it. Okay. Derek says, I'm kind of digging the character. Well, let's dig a little deeper. Let's go over to our races. We have a Tiefling. Whoop, too far. We went too far. Our intelligence score increases by 1, so I'll put a placeholder here. And our charisma increases by 2. Age, we already have. Alignment, size, we are medium creatures. We do get dark vision out to 60 feet. There we go. There's a big old 6-0. We have resistance to fire damage. So if we come up here, here's fire, right? IRV, as you see at the top. For immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities, we are resistant to fire. So let's fill in that radio button. As well, we also get Infernal Legacy. You know the Thaumaturgy cantrip. Once you reach 3rd level, you can cast the Hellish Rebuke spell once per day as a 2nd level spell. And once we reach 5th level, we can also cast Darkness once per day. And Charisma is our spellcasting ability for these spells. Languages, and we already have that up here too. Okay. You don't have to worry about that. Another point. So we have a male tiefling who favors his fiendish, his devil or demon side. Again, that's in looks and or personality. We can get rid of this now, go down to classes, and we have a wizard. Level 14, whoo, we're going to get a lot of fun toys to play with, won't we? First things first, at level 14, our proficiency bonus is +5. Yep, we're going to get that. We are going to know 5 cantrips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Infernal Legacy is going to be giving us Thaumaturgy. I suggest always labeling this kind of stuff, so not only can you reference it, but if your DM asks to see your sheet, she or he can say, oh, that's why as a wizard you can cast Thaumaturgy. Something like that. You have it all organized. Let's see. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. And we've used 0. And if you wanted to, you can always X out the ones you don't have if you think that'll be easier. Or just leave them blank. It's up to you. King says, Tycho Boom, don't believe Devati propaganda. They're always going on about how great their souls are. They're just weird love bugs of a special variety in humanoid form. I kind of like the idea of Melora being the deity of choice for this character if it's a nautical themed game. Oh no! Buddha Belly has now taken the throne from Spicy Larry. Buddha has ascended. Thank you so much, Buddha, and welcome back. You caught us in the character creation process. We're building a very interesting character. So Clark, I don't know much about Melora, but if it's, yeah, it could be a deity or a faith around the sea or storms or, you know, water. Even you know, if you want to break down your pantheon and have a mercantile god or something along those lines, something like that could work out very well. Spicy, oh no, Spicy is going to try and burn the Buddha belly at some point in time. When the belly least expect it, it will gurgle and writhe with spicy agony. But thank you, Buddha. I appreciate that. Okay, we are getting a lot of hit points. Yeah, Spice versus Belly. Can't wait to see this battle. Welcome to Death Battles! By the way, Buddha, you can just put cheer insert number rather than a bunch of ones. But Buddha likes the ones. We are 14th level, so we get 14 hit die. Specifically, they're D6s. And we've used 0 because we're a healthy wizard right now. And again, you can leave it blank or you can put X's. We're not multi-class, so we don't need to worry about other hit die over in this other section. Cheese it up. It's neat seeing the high levels in this type of character working on a first level one-shot for new players. Well, cheese it up. If I can help answer questions, let me know. Or if you want to make a first level character after we finish this, then we can sit down and do it together. It's up to you. This is going to be an interactive stream. The only things that I want to do in parts 1 and 2 are to make 2 characters for the campaign that we're plotting over the course of the week. Okay, we get no armor proficiencies. We do get some weapon proficiencies, though. Daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. Saving throws are intelligence and wisdom, so we're going to click the little diamond up here, right? You get the circle for the skills. The diamond is for the saving throw. Now, to supplement what we received as an Acolyte, which was religion and insight, we get to choose 2 from Arcana, History, well, we have insight already, Investigation, or Medicine. So 2 of those 4. Arugula Salad, welcome back. I welcome you and your dressing of choice, which, if I recall correctly, was a balsamic vinaigrette. Am I correct, Arugula? Now, remember, we're developing this character as if he's existed himself. He's not a min-maxed member of a party or anything. So, as I prompt you to choose 2 from that list, again, let's look at his skills, right? He idolizes a particular hero of his faith and constantly refers to that person's deeds as an example that might lend to history. Although, if we want to go through a religion, knowledge religion would give more credence to religious figures. Though history would be more, historical in maybe a more secular sense. I'm tolerant of other faiths and respect the worship of other gods, or an opposite somewhere in there. Power, I hope to one day rise to the top of my faith's religious hierarchy. I would die to recover an ancient relic of my faith that was lost long ago. Could that lead to possibly investigation? Right? You're poring over maps, you're putting together clues, you really want to find this lost relic. And I put too much trust in those who wield power within my temple's hierarchy. Could that mean we don't take a skill as a flaw? You know, if you came to me as a player, and Ivalon or other DMs might rule differently, but you said, look, this is my flaw, I really like it, could I move insight from my background to something else appropriate to an Acolyte? I might say, yeah, that makes sense. You want to play up your flaw? You want it to be statistically relevant? Then we can do that. Otherwise, if you want to keep insight, it's just that you never ask questions of your hierarchy. You follow the commands of the temple or of the faith or whatever, and you don't bother to incite them, but you'll incite other things. Arugula, yes, I am indeed correct. I remember. Haha, very cool. How right were you when you said your 1-bit wouldn't hold up very long? Clark, it's Clark, the prophetic declarer. I'd say his blind faith would put points into religion. Well, religion is already proficient romantic. So we don't really have to worry about that, at least as far as proficiency with the skill goes. I would almost want to say something like history. History and investigation, to me, are jumping out based on his personality. right? Because his skill set is going to reflect his goals. He's going to want to be better at the things that he is pursuing, the things that interest him. I think history and investigation are those things. The flaw of faith stopping questioning is interesting. Yeah, that's and so that's a way that either through RP or through mechanics, you can negotiate with your DM and say, look, can I don't know, maybe as an acolyte, I didn't really look into what people were saying. I was following orders, right? I love being a part of this order. I want to be just like Saint so-and-so. But instead, maybe he was, if we want to keep it in wisdom and appropriate to an acolyte, maybe he was a healer, and we move it to medicine. Is there anything really wrong with that? We're playing to our flaw. It's still a wisdom-based skill. It's still within a concept of the role that religious figures took as doctors and menders and people who offer first aid. We could do that, right? We could move insight to medicine. I kind of dig history. His personality leaves a lot of room for interpretation of the past to be rather selective. All right, so Arugula is cheering for history. Now we get one more. And also, do you want me to drop insight and give him medicine? Or do you want to stick with insight and we just role play through that he can always question him, he chooses not to. And later on in the story, in the campaign, maybe that's a crisis point. This character will face a crisis of faith where he actually puts his full talents to use, and maybe he realizes that the hierarchy of this faith ain't what it used to be. Or maybe as much as they talk it up, it's not all that. Maybe it's not even like a corruption and whatever. It could just be, I don't know, the treasurer has been embezzling, but he never bothered to look into it. And he says, all this time well, that might be investigation. You get what I'm saying. All this time I could have actually been improving my faith, but instead I didn't. I just went with what I was told. That's compelling storytelling. Dark Wolf likes the medicine swap. Cheese It Up says ooh, which is almost an a woo. Romantic says you could play your flaw even more and maybe have more faith in the temple than your religion. I came in late. You don't know what alignment or religion is. The god is irrelevant. This is actually a wizard that we're generating, a transmutation wizard with the Acolyte background. And the alignment is lawful good. I also really like Ion as his deity, goddess of knowledge, skill, and prophecy. Again, Clark, we can assign whatever deity we want. I'm not poo-pooing your selection. To me, a deity is not relevant in 5th edition because we're talking about the concept. We can assign a deity at a later point in time, but what are the tenets of faith? What are we pursuing? Now, hopefully I didn't just make, like, Ivalon, like, collapse over in his chair and kind of, like, twitch or anything. Medicine kind of aligns with Transmuter, knowing changing biology, how creatures work. Yep, I agree, Civil. I think that might be a good way of doing things. Laws on Me, a crisis of faith. Plus, I think the medicine swap is a good idea. He has no need to insight check his order if he really believes it. Yep. Dark Wolf gives an a woo. And, hey, you agree with me. I'm not trying to paint you into a corner or anything, Ivalon. If anything, I appreciate that, as I said before, but we have new people in here. You run your games differently than I do. Derek runs his differently. We have some other DMs that are first-timers or they're still rookies that are going to run their games differently as well. So I like kind of throwing out nods or pings or prompts to you and others to throw in your hat and say, well, as a DM, this is what I would do. You'd much prefer a slimmer, simpler pantheon with gods of each domain. You like okay, Narugla likes it too, 1-to-1. Hey, I run a monotheistic D&D world. You want to talk about slimming things down? Ivalon, you're my scapegoat. Yeah, totally. If something didn't go right, I'll just default to you. Buddha Belly, yes, this is the beauty of tabletop. Clark, I don't know, maybe I'm projecting how much Zoe cares about the Raven Queen onto his character. Well, in the context of your game, the Raven Queen could be very significant. And just because I do things one way, please don't let that cast doubt on your own playstyle and your own character. Because depending on the culture of the world, you can say, well, we're defined by the gods, or we define the gods. Is it internal or external? And in this case, Zoe, your tiefling cleric, wants to emulate the specific god that he worships. There's nothing wrong with that. This seems to be the context of your campaign, of the campaign world, and that makes total sense, Clark. Law says, in your monotheistic world, do atheists get any sort of boon? Yes, they do. You very much can cast that sort of magic. Let's see. So, I guess we'll do investigation. That seems to make sense, right? And how that works, Laws, is if you conceptualize it in a strict sense, how could anyone be atheist in this kind of a world? Where you pray to a being and you receive direct communication and manifestation of powers. I guess you could. Anyone could be anything. Though what I did in the past was the current monotheistic deity was always around but never granted powers. And so that was the true test of faith. If you followed this deity in the early campaigns of the world, that was the true test of faith, because this deity offered you no boons, offered no direct answers to prayers, offered you no power, save for your own power of self-reflection and seeking something greater beyond you, something enigmatic, something you can't conceptualize by saying, I'd like to heal people today, God. Can you please let me do that? Thank you. I slept 8 hours, and I'm a good boy or girl. And over campaigns, I've been running the same campaign world that has grown and changed on my players' actions for 13 years or so now. I think it's been about that, 12, 13. And over time, this deity has grown and it is a monotheistic religion that has a previous version of the players who've ascended as saints. But when you could get power finally from this deity, and we still had concepts of portfolios, domains and portfolios, I allowed a cleric who prayed to this deity, choose any 3 that you want. And that's what you could choose your 3. You're casting off of your faith. And so now it was showing that the power of yourself, your faith, your willingness, your rationality in the world, or even your irrationality, because you have it how you want it to be, was the answer to your prayers in magical form. And by this point in the history of the D&D world that I run, it is a monotheistic faith for the civilized races. Though there has been a split, kind of a reformation. If we want to go with like the Catholic and the Protestant factions, we have the Catholic faith equivalent, which is we pray directly to this being, to this monotheistic God. Then you have the Protestants, who they're praying to the same God, but they're using a saint as emulation, because the saints were real people. They were mortals, they were flawed, they made mistakes and bad decisions, yet they were still blessed by this deity to ascend and become a constellation, and they're one of the 6 saints of this deity. And so the reformers said, we don't, can we ever be as lofty? Can we ever be as pure at whatever, evil, good, in between, as this deity? No, we're humans, so we're the saints. And so we're going to go through the saints in this way. And we're going to emulate the saints, and then we'll, that is our way to whatever the final reward is. You still get powers You know, mechanically in the game, you still get powers whether you follow the saints or the deity. And if you don't have a deity, you still get you can still draw on divine power for reasons that your character would find out over the course of the campaign. I mean, that's something that I haven't really revealed to them because they've all chosen a path to take for any that are religious, whether for direct mechanics in class or whether to be religious as a part of their character as like a fighter, you know, who still prays. Let's see. Laws on Me, is the growing guilds for underwater reasons a concept that you're chasing? I think it's legit. Well, look, we're trusting in the power of randomness, Laws. We made a sailor character. We're like, yeah, this is kind of a cool concept. Maybe we should go with a water theme, a nautical theme campaign this week. Now we have a transmutation wizard, and transmuters can do a lot of things like grow gills and webbed feet and everything. It works, right? I think we're onto something. Let's roll with it. Let's let the idea play out. Romantic Day says Han Solo. Laws on Me. Okay, no, that was that. Buddha Belly. My fiance thinks I'm watching a sermon. Maybe not a sermon. I'm probably on a soapbox, but not a sermon. Civil Hermit. I kind of like the idea of anti-theists in D&D. Keep the gods out of the material plane. It belongs to us mortals, or something like that. Yes, I do agree, Civil. Buddha Belly had to tell her, nah, D&D, babe. Well, hey, you know what? If she's listening along, Buddha, and she has questions, please feel free to transcribe them on her behalf. Well, I'm happy to have her on the adventure too. Laws on Me. I don't think atheism would exist as we know it in our reality. It'd be more like an outward rebellion against Greek, Roman type god figures and the benevolent and the worst apathetic to human concerns. Continues, the civilized races believe in monotheism. That's an amazing parallel to our own world. Nicely done on a narrative level. Also, smart move bringing your PCs into the religious mythos. Yes, it was both a reward and kind of a bit of a curse too. And when I say civilized races, it's because there's others like centaurs, minotaurs, and they are animists. They believe that the power lies in the spirits of the land, you know, of the mountain or the old tree or of the river. And so right now, we have the civilized races, our colonists that have returned back to the old world. Boy, I really have to get into a lot of context for this to make sense, but I mean, I could sit here in front of the camera and tell you 12, 13 years of world building history. But they've returned and have started making colonies, and these more bestial people have been down here Okay, why did I say down here? There's a reason why I said down here. They've been down here this whole time, and they're clerics too. They just draw off of different inspirations, and it doesn't even have to be all like, you know, ham-fisted into being druids. And so it's revealing that the power of faith is something that isn't exclusive to the worship of a name and then whatever portfolios or domains that are under the name. It's almost a reflection of yourself and your own understanding of the world and what compels you through it on some sort of non-physical level, a metaphysical level. Civil Hermit, seems to be way more transmutation spells than divination. I can drop the list when we get there to spur some ideas, but we're probably not going to be there just to plug them all in. Romantic says, in my games, the gods are like invincible titans who are like NPCs. They exist and people hate them. Cheese It Up says, I hadn't considered religion yet. This has given me a lot of inspiration. I'm glad. And if you have other questions or commentary, I've been pondering metaphysics. I've been pondering faith and spirituality, you know, to deism, atheism, all of this as part of a campaign world, let alone any of our own individual journeys through faith or belief systems. I don't know what you believe. You know, I'm not going to pry, but call on your own experiences, call on your academic research, call on your lifestyle, your family, the things that you're aware of, the things that you know. Because it's going to be so much more vivid when you insert that into your world as a DM, or to express it as a PC into the world that you're already a part of. And Civil, I didn't mean to glaze over that. When you get to that list, yeah, I got on a soapbox, and I'm kind of I'm not ranting, but I'm definitely not putting numbers on a page. Though I think what we're doing here is a lot more meaningful. If I'm wrong, please correct me. No tool proficiencies. Okay, we already have our skills. I think we're good there. Equipment, we're going to get a quarterstaff or a dagger. I think we'll give ourselves the quarterstaff. Maybe, I don't know. We could even say it's an oar. Right? A quarterstaff. It's a wooden staff that has just sort of like a flat blade at the end. If we need to, it's an oar. Why not, right? It's nautical themed. Component pouch or an arcane focus. So, do we believe he's methodical enough to keep different components for his spells? Or would he... This is a part of his personality. Is he methodical, or does he like collecting things or owning things? Or would he have a pouch with all kinds of little bits and bobs in it? Or would we want to give him some kind of an arcane focus instead for the material component of his spells? Buddha Belly wants to take a walk through the plains. Oh, a lion jumps out. You attack with disadvantage. 6 plus 2 is 8. Buddha Belly still overcomes the lion and wins 75 EXP. Nice job. Law says, Caden, haven't you learned the old manifest coffee from Air Trick? That would be nice. Oh, and by the way, hi, Caden. You're aware of the fact you're running low on coffee in my cup, and I haven't yet to be able to manifest any with sheer will alone. Yes. It is especially important because Caden is graveyard shift IT. IT wizard Sleepy need coffee badly. Maybe a focus might be hard to get components on days at sea. All right, there we go. Good thought, Dark Wolf. Now the question is, what do we want the focus to be? We could roll a trinket, or we could just give him something if you want. Now, a Scholar's Pack or an Explorer's Pack. I would say Scholar's Pack because of how steeped in history he is, right? And the Scholar's Pack would give him ink and paper and other things to make notes. If you think differently, let me know and we can change it. And finally, a spellbook. Will transmute lead for coffee. Kane, I feel ya. It's 1:42 a.m. in my neck of the woods. Yep, same here in Ohio. There be I don't know if there's dragons here. Oh, and romantic is also graveyard shift. Gotcha. Roll a trinket. We can work it in. Okay, we'll roll a trinket. Make sure to remind me when we get to that point, Dark Wolf. Clark says, the more we talk about religion in games, the more I'm convinced I need my fix of playing Zoe more than pretty much anything right now. Well, I don't know if your DM is awake, but I do this. Let your DM know that you are really jonesing to play Zoe. And maybe if you can do like an email or a text-based RP on the side or something, that could help you out. Otherwise, Clark, hey, get a pen and paper out and write down all kinds of ideas that you're having. Okay. Spellcasting, we're going to get to spellcasting. There's going to be a lot of it here. Let's not worry about that just yet. We are going to get from our class Arcane Recovery. Lets us cast a couple more spells during a short rest. We're going to get our Arcane Tradition. That'll be our archetype. Not worried about that just yet. ASI, and oh, we're not at Spell Mastery just yet, so I guess we'll just do this. Our Arcane Tradition. We're going to scroll down to Transmutation. We are a Transmutation Savant. Beginning when you select the school at second level, golden time spent is halved. Minor Alchemy, starting at 2nd level. And so here is Minor Alchemy. You can temporarily alter the physical properties of one non-magical object, changing it from one substance into another. You perform a special alchemical procedure on one object composed entirely of wood, stone but not gemstone, iron, copper, or silver. transforming it into a different one of those materials. For each 10 minutes you spend performing the procedure, you can transform up to 1 cubic foot of material. After 1 hour, or until you lose your concentration, as if you were concentrating on a spell, the material reverts to its original substance. At 6th level, we are going to get a Transmuter Stone. You can spend 8 hours creating a Transmuter Stone that stores transmutation magic. You can benefit from this stone yourself or give it to another creature. The creature gains the benefit of your choice. This is a really cool one. You can give Dark Vision, increased speed, proficiency in con saving throws, or resistances. We also... Shape Changer. At 10th level, you add the Polymorph spell to your spell book, if it's not there already. You can cast Polymorph without expending a spell slot. When you do so, you target only yourself and transform into a beast whose challenge rating is 1 or lower. Once you cast Polymorph this way, you can't do so until you finish a long rest. Also, we are at 14, a Master Transmuter. Right, here's our level 14. Bum-ba-da-da. Major Transformation. Panacea. You remove all curses, disease, and poisons. Restore life. We can cast the Raise Dead spell on a creature we touch. Or Restore Youth. In my campaign world, I am very, very limiting on any sort of resurrection or comeback from the dead. Also, I don't have other planes of existence, nor do I have extra dimensional spaces. Personal note, your campaign world, you do what you want. Caden, yes, no problem, Caden, it's fine. I feel that in Kentucky, all our dragons run on diesel. I like that saying, Laws. I like that. In Caden, oh yeah, you're in Maine? No dragons here, just hags and witches? Yeah, well, if you're in Maine, that's also where a lot of, quaint seaside towns have unexplicable cosmic horrors happen to them. Yeah, and your own adventure with Zoe sounds fun. Is he alone? He's not alone, he's in a party. Still going to be new ground broken in the tome of the stilled tongue. We're still at the moment he found in the Dracolich's lair. Oh. King says it's a difficult premise to take RPG fantasy religion seriously. For years I've embraced the teachings of Tiamat to heart, and for years I've been finding women in my life who were secretly egotistical hoarders whose true form was just as enormous as it was reptilian. Oh gosh, King. Yeah, you do mention your ex on occasion, King, and laws on me. I just made not buffered. I'm thinking IT stuff. I made buttered rice with a veggie medley. That sounds good, and currently giving me renewed vigor to discover this character. That's awesome, Laws. Ivlon, what may you consider doing is take the ideas of the planes and making them real-world locations, in the same way Mount Olympus was in the real world. I did that with the Feywild and Shadowfell, but something like the Plane of Fire or whatnot, it would really just explain... I get what you're saying, but it would explain why you're going to find fire monsters around a volcano, because it's a natural ecosystem. Like, plane shift is just really kind of a teleportation spell in my game. How do you handle PC death, especially when it's a character everyone's attached to and the rest of the party lives? They die. That's... Unless there's something phenomenal that happens, they die. That's it. Death is death. You move on. If you can come back from the dead, you have cheapened living. You have cheapened the lives of people. And, in fact, you put a price tag on it. What is it? 500 gold pieces and diamond dust. That's how much a human life is worth. Do you want to do that? Do you want to make a commodity out of people's lives? Do you want to take away meaning from people's lives? That is my philosophy. It doesn't have to be yours in your world. But if a PC dies in my world, you had a good run, something happened, and that's that. Never was, It's Clark says never was, grew up a gypsy, joined the Order of the Raven as a teenager, Stayed in the temple with his clergy for years, doing services regularly for the public. Now he's joined a party. Oh yeah, this is the recap of Zoe, and is a tiefling, of all things too, which is cool. I love it. Swish responsibly. My party had a full funeral for my character before he started playing. Nice. Cheese it up. You grieve. You say your goodbyes. You make your character matter. Don't cheapen the life. Derek, I'm with you, brother. Maybe Zoe has been forced away from the group against his will. Just an idea. I lose meaning in my life every time I log in for work, says Caden. Yep, but think about it. If you can just bring characters back from the dead, life has... What meaning does life have? If you know that all you need are 500 gold pieces worth of components and you can come back from the dead, you're probably going to do things that... You're not going to make smart life decisions because your life doesn't mean as much. I've handled undead in different ways. Is there a specific angle you're going for, Ivalon? There's an opposite end of the spectrum. If characters die too often, there's no investment and just end up feeling disposable. Yeah, I mean, that's true, but if you're piloting a character and you keep jumping in the same spike pit without doing something differently, even though you've been prompted or you know better, this is a pure example. I'm not saying this happened on my tabletop. As a player, you might want to visit your decisions and look at that too. Delcorn, it's a learning experience. If you encounter a beholder and get nuked, then you've learned beholders are bad. Law says, I just ran an Inception-style campaign where an Aasimar paladin thought he could single-handedly attack a plane or demon. He got wrecked and transferred to a different plane where all the NPCs were demon-controlled puppets. Took 2 sessions for him to escape back to his regular plane, except plot twist, it's not his regular plane. He hasn't learned that yet. He's now in a parallel universe that it's vastly different from his own. Took me ages to think it up. That sounds really interesting, Laws. Could be why he found a tome directly related to the sworn enemy of his goddess, Romantic Day. And Buddha says, could a necromancer bring back a dead PC to fight them in your game? Ever had that happen? I have had people brought back from the dead. It has happened in my campaign world. It has happened under extraordinary and unique circumstances. Extraordinary and unique circumstances that have taken major player interest and investment in the game to accomplish. Therefore, it is a reward. It isn't just a mechanic. Does that make sense? If a vampire bites you and you die, do you not become a vampire? Well, I haven't really played with vampires, but yeah, you'd become a vampire. I don't see why you wouldn't. Okay, that is those are our features. Now we're gonna get to the biscuits and gravy here of our wizard. We'll have to generate our stats first before we can do much else, because we're gonna need that for some spell casting and for some others like save DCs and all that. All right. Well, as a tiefling, we get intelligence and charisma. If any of you have a suggested stat spread, let me know. Otherwise, what I'm thinking as we start with our standard array, we have an intelligence. We'll start with a 15. I don't know if he can transmute and change shape. I don't know if he's really going to be strong in anything. I almost think he's going to be more of a brain in a lot of things. Right? Because if we go 15, maybe we go 14, we go 13, 12, 10, and 8. Let's say we did this. He has... Look, he's been a cloistered person, right? He's been an acolyte, then he took up studies, and he's a transmutation wizard. I don't think he's really gotten out much. In fact, we could probably even argue that transmutation should give him a higher constitution than a dexterity. You know, we could even say that you know, he's played around a little bit. He is at least a little more hale and hearty. So he'll get a 12 con, but his dex and strength aren't there because he's lived a, you know, no pun intended, a cloistered lifestyle. What are your thoughts on this? Cheese it up. Life is a gift, not a resource. I do agree. Laws on me. Cheese it up. Time. Lots of time. Also, I played a solo session with him because of how intense his time in the puppet plane was. Oh, that's cool. Buddha says, sounds good to me. I think death needs to happen. Life is technically a resource. That's why you have sacrifices. It's, I'd say it's scarce. Maybe a resource. It's definitely scarce, and that's why there's value to our labor. That's why we trade time on this earth for a currency that we can spend on coffee and video games. Like you said, to make life in-game relevant. Yeah, I'm opposed to default resurrection spells. I would be for something like reincarnation. I'm a little bit more open because you're not getting exactly what you wanted. But still, that is a comeback to life spell, and it would still have to be kind of a unique circumstance. Buddha. Oh, Buddha's healing a little bit. Thank you very much, Buddha. I appreciate that. You're hanging in there, right? Once you're knocked off the throne, there's no coming back. Well, there is, but it's different. Also, most forms of resurrection are expensive, require high-level casters. You could just argue that at the point you're wandering around creating demi-planes, you're probably also able to pawn some of Grandma's jewelry for a res. That's true, but I'm also conceptualizing in a game world where the peasantry knows that you can just buy things to come back to life. Why aren't they selling everything for that? You know, why aren't they tearing down noble houses, saying that everyone has deserves access to resurrection? Everyone has access to unlimited cure spells, unlimited make food and water. These are magical considerations. Like, this is a whole other conversation. These are magical considerations for you in your campaign world. I have a hard line with death. I have a softer line with cure spells, remove disease, and for things like good berry or create water or something like that. Cheese it up. I imagine him scarred from failed experiments. That could be too. Minorly crippling his body. Yeah, and at the same time maybe bulking it. Civil Hermit's asking for a res, please. Talking about reincarnation. Hey, you're a female Mull Cleric. Cool combo, Civil. That's a cool combo. Dark Wolf wants a res, please, but I think, yeah, too soon on the global cooldown. Dark Wolf comes back as a male fairy rogue. Ooh. Not only do you get to pickpockets, you can just sort of ride along in them. The meta world of D&D is truly a silly place and should never be the basis for a seriously themed setting. I half agree with you, King. Laws says, good point. One of the best lessons I ever learned from my father was that time is not money, but money is time. Don't think about a dollar value, think about a time value. Yep. You want, you know, it's up to you to make your time more valuable by learning skills or proving to other people that you are worth their time, or that, you know, they're worth your time itself. Time is the biggest currency, but we just manufacture pieces of paper to represent it. I mean, look, having a master's in this sort of thing and having taught a college level economics class, I got to have interesting discussions with students. All right, we get a lot of things here. If we do this, we have a -1. We have, well, actually, hang on. We get 3 ASIs, and we did not take any feats. We randomly rolled that he took all stat bumps. So first things first, this does go to 16, and this goes to 15. Two of them are probably going to go into intelligence, because he is dedicated. He wants this relic. He's made it his life. Plus, the more intelligent he is, maybe he's thinking the stronger he can make his body through his magic. So if we do that, with his first 2 ASIs in intelligence, he's going to go to 20. Now, what do we do with the last one? Do we want to top off charisma and throw one into wisdom? Do we want to give him 2 points in con to reflect that he's toughened his body over all these levels by transmuting more and more? You know, if we want him to, he does have a high wisdom saving throw, and he is good at medicine. Maybe we could just go for a 16 here and make him a little bit more mentally resilient as well. Gotta go, might not be back. Hey, Derek, thank you for being a part of the stream again. Take care, and I'll see you again, brother. Oh, cheese it up, raise it. ASI, ability score increase at level 4, 8, 12, and so on until you get to 19, because you get your last one before level 20. You get to add 2 points to 1 score or 1 point to 2 scores. Semicolon, or you can take a feat from Chapter 6. Gimbal, welcome Gimbal Lock. That's a character sheet. Yeah, if you would like this character sheet, go to that one. You're gonna find the first ones, Gimbal, or the classic ones are gonna be at that first link. You're gonna find this modified one on the second link that is provided. Cheese it up. Did I sufficiently answer your question? Okay, now that we have these numbers, well, he's earned a name. He's not just a floating piece of ephemeral generation. We filled in a lot of him. He has an outline, he's painted in, so start thinking of names. We have our male tiefling who favors his demonic side in looks and or personality. Maybe that means that he has a more demonic sounding name. I don't know. Or diabolic. Devils or demons, doesn't matter. They're both fiends. You're welcome, Gimbal, and thank you for joining us here. King says, I included the word seriously so that we could rule out settings that have meta insurance companies that offer resurrections or healing spells in the event of your death or injury. Oh, Ravnica does that, actually. It's kind of an interesting concept. Cheese it up. Indeed, the rules beyond level 2 was once known, but has since become unfamiliar. King, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but if you would like to know the concept behind actually what you just wrote, I can list it out for you. Let's see. We're just gonna copy and paste this -1. Saving throws and athletics. We're just gonna copy and paste this. Well, we don't have to do that, but 0, 0, 0, and 0. You're all ears. All right. Well, if you want an interesting concept, King. Oh, by the way, our int saving throw is 10. And Control C. History, investigation, religion. So what happens, King, is when you get an insurance policy, it is with effectively a necromancer. And what you sign up for with the contract is, upon your death, your soul, your ghost, whatever you want to call it, is indentured to perform certain tasks for X amount of time. So let's say, I don't know, let's say that you earn 10, well, let's see. If a gold is like a day's worth of commoner labor, so I don't know, let's say you earn 3,500 gold a year, okay? What you would do is you'd sign a contract that upon your death, or I don't know, let's make it easy math, 3,000 gold a year. You sign a contract saying that you are going to indenture your soul for 5 years. And so upon your death, your beneficiary will receive 15,000 gold, because that is a prepayment for the labor that you have no choice but to provide for the necromancer. Does that make sense? Afterwards, your spirit is dismissed. Buddha Belly wants to name him Efil Salc. Laws on me while I'm off to bed. The stream schedule is readily available because I'm watching. Yeah, the stream schedule, Laws, is just if you scroll down on the stream page a little bit. I start at 11 p.m. Eastern time, and I usually go until 3-ish with main content. And I might go beyond if there's a hop-in conversation, or I'll play a role-playing related video game. Right now it's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Hey, yeah, Sarah's here. King, you better watch out. Yeah, aren't you happy to see your wife, King? You might be happy, King. Sarah definitely wanted my vampire character to die last night. By the way, for any of you who are new in here, feel free to roleplay with each other, either as, your stream name or as a character. King and Sarah are absolutely, they're horrible people meant to be together. I say that, tongue-in-cheek and with humor. They're both villainous characters who have sort of beaten each other to marriage. And as a state, right, you've been beaten to death. Well, they kind of beat each other into marriage. And they're both very interesting people to interact with. And of course, we'll have other role players come and go out of here too. So you're welcome to join in on that any way that you want. Yes, Sarah wants all vampires to die. All right, Laws, take care. Oh, yeah, by the way, Tycho is King's waifu. Yeah, uh-oh. And instead of even being upset at you, King, she actually wants to just nuke, she wants to nuke your original waifu of Tycho Boom. They're both in the same room at the same time. How did I let this happen? The planets have aligned. The stars are right, King. The stars are right. Also, if you're new, something else to know, King is very fond. Yes. Hey, cheese it up, thank you. King loves tieflings, halflings, gnomes. King loves, he despises humans, and high elves are the worst of the worst. Anything else and you're pretty okay. Damn you, stars! And now you sound like, what, Mr. X from Resident Evil 2 and 3. Stars. Sarah. Oh. Why? Oh. What? Buddha Belly, thank you for the donation. Tycho is inherently immune to lightning. Alright, so his initiative's +0 because that's what his dex mod is, and his armor class is 10 for the same reason. Right? You start with 10, you add any armor or dex modifier. Well, he has neither of those. What else can we do? Oh, our passive perception is 13. 10 plus your, well, perception down here. Current hit points. Well, at first level, you always get your maximum hit die, which means we have 13 other levels that we do what I suggest going half +1. It's steady, it favors the PC, and it's guaranteed a chunk of hit points every turn instead of rolling and going 1, 1, 2, 6, 1, 2, 3. In this case, so it'd be 13 times 4. Now, every level, whoops, his con mod is 1, not 2. Every level, you get your con modifier, which means he has 14 levels times 1 of bonus hit points. Clark, wow, the memes are strong. Cheese it up. Are half elves okay? Cheese it up, no half elves. All half elves must. All half anythings must die. Half orcs, half elves, half giants, and half lings. Tycho, now what is this cheating nonsense, mister? Hides behind half cover. Cheese it up. Yes. Oh, I'm loving that. Clark, right? Because humans are so garbage. Can't compare those to little gnomes. Gnomes are basically half elves and also must die. Yes, you're learning the secret history between King that is also tied in with Tycho and Sarah. So, I think I'm supposed to calculate hit points, but this is so much fun. Alright, so we have 14. And this is 52. So we have 58. So that's 62. Pretty healthy. He's pretty healthy. 72. Oh, also, we have a 30-foot move speed, which is 15 climb, 15 swim, and 0 fly. But as a transmutation wizard, you better write this in pencil, because this will change. Dwarves are just little robots that have to abide their programming. I'm cheating on you so hard that I had to go to war to do it. The Spicy Larry. The PC term is constructs. Thank you. I thought she's already backstabbed you, King, but she wasn't able to find your phylactery. So you just sort of reincarnated as a lich after a few days. Okay. Our spell save DC is 8, plus our proficiency modifier, which is 13, plus our intelligence modifier. So we're at an 18 DC. And our attack is just -8. And there's nothing... I don't know, unless you want to count some of your transmutation stuff, there's nothing really down here. So if you want, you can exit out, write in zeros, or leave it blank. It's up to you. Now this is an evil party. Okay, let's roll up a trinket, and then we'll get to some wizard spell stuff. This is going to be a percentile roll. 73. His focus, his arcane focus, is the shell of an egg painted with scenes of human misery in disturbing detail. Oh my. Trinket number 73. Maybe somehow that plays into his Acolyte background, and that's a compass to find this treasure or something. Could be. How do we solve human misery? Follow the misery to the source. That's a solid trinket roll. Goes under the kitchen table eating. Tycho, 2 gold, 2 gold. Do I hear 2.5 gold? Hey, Gimbal Lock, thank you very much for coming along on the journey here with us. Thank you very much, Gimbal. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. And you know, welcome aboard. With the sense that I guess we're doing a nautical themed campaign this week, and also just the metaphorical, you know, that literal sense and a metaphorical one of, here's your crew, enjoy. 2 gold, 2 gold. I got 2 gold. Does anyone have 2.5 gold for the lovely Sarah? 2 gold. Well, we're gonna have to tie her up and leave her outside till she calms down. And amidst that, Gimbal says, "Glad to be here." I'm glad you are glad, Gimbal. Dark Wolf, what was the trinket? It was number 73. 73. Number 73. Trinket 73. Delcorin wasn't hosting. Well, now you are. Thank you very much. Buddha Belly, aw, dude, thank you again. I appreciate that. makes your want to kill you less for a while. Whoops, not what I wanted. Let's see, we get... Respect has followed. Thank you, Respect. That means a lot to me. If any of you who are just coming along, if you have questions or comments for what I'm doing, if you want to share your own experiences, if you want to roleplay along with the interesting scenario we have going on here, it's a bit of a love triangle between some 100% true good characters. You're welcome to do so. It's a lot of fun, and I'm happy to have you aboard here. We're gonna have five cantrips and the Infernal Legacy Thaumaturgy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Buddha Belly? Oh man, you thank you, dude. Wow. Thank you, seriously. Delcorin does some chip damage to Buddha Belly. Buddha Belly heals it back. Uh-oh, Buddha Belly has regeneration. I'd watch out. Respect says, no specific question, but can you fill in people like me who are new? What step is this? Alright, so Respect, this is about at the end of character creation. I save spells for last, and we do it for thematic purposes. However, Respect, what we can do, if you are brand new to D&D, when I finish this character over here, we can sit down and we can make a level 1 character, and I can show you how to go through it. Do you want to go through a practice like that, Respect? Let me know. Sold! Sarah now belongs to Romantic Day. Uh-oh, Civil, what happened? Uh-oh, Civil spammed the chat, and the chat bot said nay nay. Yeah, it was a little too long, Civil. Alright, now, as a wizard... Well, first things first also. 4-3-3-3-2-1-1. Alright. 4-3-3-3... 2, 1, 1. There we go. You'll be lurking? Well, are you lurking, or do you want to make a character together? I don't mind doing that. That's what this channel's for. This is a D&D 101. We're discussing mechanics, storytelling. This is a place for new players to come and have their questions answered. As a DM, as a PC, it's all welcome here, Respect. Hides at the side. Oh, Spicy Larry. Yeah, I know. Spicy. So, Buddha has shown that... think of Buddha Belly like Snorlax, okay? He has the leftovers. He's regenerating health. And you know what? Delcorin has tried to chip damage him down. You can't do it. You're going to have to... Spicy, if you want your throne back, you're going to have to... you're going to have to step up and be super effective. Clark, this storm's worrying me. The lights are flickering. Uh-oh. Well, Clark, hey, be safe, be warm and well. Hopefully you can stick around. If not, then... look, I understand. I don't want you to blow your computer out if there's power surges, brother. Did Tycho go into Romantic Day and selling off Sarah? Dark Wolf is being sneaky. All right, as preparing and casting, we're going to get 6 first level spells as a wizard. I suggest labeling when you get your spells. 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are our starter ones. And oh, I'm sorry. We are a wizard. Prepare number spells equal Intelligence, so that's 5 plus 19. There we go. There we go. And each time you gain a wizard level, you can add 2 wizard spells to your choice of the book. Each of the spells must be of a level. Okay. So that means, look, at level 1, we're going to know, if we just look at this, we can cast first level spells twice, but we're going to know 6 spells. So we can mix and match. We can take any of those 6 spells and cast them twice. We don't get second level spells until level 3. So that means our automatic 2 spells are here. Okay? Because we get 2 spells every time we level up. Now you'll notice, well, now when we hit level 3, we can cast second level spells. So if we want, we can now go level 3, level 3. That said, if you want to absolutely collect them all and you want to get every first level wizard spell, you could go level 4 and then you could put level 4 up here. And then do you want to go level 5, you can do that. As long as you can cast that slot spell, you can add the spell at that level. Now, for purposes of what we're doing here, I'm going to keep it a little bit more direct than that. So right, level 3 and 4, at level 5, level 7, you see how this is going? Actually, let's do this. 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14. Volvo, welcome, and thank you very much for the host. That's really cool of you to do. Hopefully this made sense to you all, and you can see how in the spell progression it goes. Again, though, if I wanted, I could drop a level 14 spell into level 3, because almost all spells you can cast up. You can make a level 2 spell a level 9 spell if you wanted. If we have 4 options and can only cast them once, do you want to fill all 4 of your freebie spells here, or do you want to go back and fill in others? That's up to you as a wizard, but you can see how things are operating here. Delcorin, I can buy a whip. High heels would be more difficult. I don't think my fat calves could pull off the heel look. You want to be the best? Yeah, I want to be the best level 1 wizard like there never was. all the first level spells are mine. Yes. I am the wizard they call min-max. I have all the minimal level spells and I cast them all at maximum level. Sarah says, goes to Waterdeep and talks to a masked lord. Matty Morg's my man. Can I get a few thousand soldiers? That depends on what you're going to do for me here. And also, how did you know? I don't have my mask on, Sarah. I can't conduct business unless I'm wearing my mask. You know this. There are rules. I'm only a masked Lord of Waterdeep when I'm masked. I don't have a moneymaker either. It's all in my calves. Cheese it up. If I can get a friend DM, I'm totally playing min-max. And, oh yeah, respect like no one ever was. And sorry, respect, if you did answer earlier. Sure, you lots to learn, but I'll give it a shot. Okay, respect. I'm pretty well done with this character. Civil, Yep, I'll list that too, Civil. Thank you for that reminder. I'm gonna go over the tenets of our spell casting and concept, and then I'm gonna have to get up and take a break. I got to use the little wizard's room real quick, and we'll go from there. Civil is correct though. He does get polymorph. Also, for being a tiefling, he does get thaumaturgy as well from Infernal Legacy. He is going to be getting a couple spells here too. He is going to get Hellish Rebuke as a 2nd level spell. And as part of Infernal Legacy, he is going to be getting Darkness. And then we can make a note that this is Cha-based instead of Int. But you know what? That'll work, because he has a pretty decent charisma. Cool. Respect says, I played my first real game of D&D at PAX East a few weeks ago. Maybe I've been bit by the bug. That's great. That is an excellent bug with which to, or by which to get bit. From which? No. Sandwich? We'll go over a level 1 character. Think of a concept. And if you don't have one, Respect, we will randomly build you one. If you're willing to say, whatever, give me a character, you know, I give myself to you, Vigo. Like the museum keeper in Ghostbusters 2. We can do that, or if there's a particular combination you like, we'll build from there, okay? Hey, Jack, it's good to see you back. I'm a poet and didn't even know it. You've been given a quest to multi-class sub and Dom. Oh, jeez. I recommend the Lydian chromatic concept. Cheese it up. Go get him, romantic day. Don't worry, Clark. We're having a lot of fun. My girlfriend's on the floor laughing, and neither of us know what's happening. Oh, is your girlfriend following along in here too, Clark? If so, then welcome to Ms. Clark. Does anyone want to give some context? Perhaps I can come up with something. So Respect. The character that we make for you here doesn't have to be a part of this project. We're going to make 5 characters this week, and we'll bring them together as some sort of a scrappy pirate crew or sailors or something along those lines. If you want a C-type character, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll build whatever you want. And if you don't know what you want, we'll do a random character generation, okay? Now, as you all saw, Civil Hermit listed very conveniently for us a list of transmutation spells. Odds are, if you're a transmutation wizard, you will most likely want to collect those spells because they're cheaper for you to do, and it's kind of your specialty. You can go through and fill those in as appropriate. You can take others that interest you. Think of your spell book as a wizard, as a diary. You are going to learn or purchase spells that are reactive to what's going on around you, that are a part of who you are. What do you like to do? Do you have a compulsion? For instance, he's probably going to want to take locate object or locate person. That way he can try and find this treasure easier, this lost relic of his faith. So, yes, you can say, oh, well, a friend of mine told me every wizard needs Fireball. Fireball is a good damage spell. Do you need Fireball to play a wizard? No, you do not. You know, do you need all the statistically best spells? No, you don't. Especially for characters like what we have here. His spell book is going to be a journey. If you read his spell page, you're going to be able to imagine the places he's gone and the things he's seen and what he's done over the years. because he's starting as a first level wizard. These are the ones that he knows right out of, wizard school. As he levels up, you can imagine, oh, so this was going on in his life at this point in time. So if you're creating a wizard in this way, that's already of advanced level and you haven't adventured yourself to chronicle spells for your character in-game, think of it like that. What are the spells your character would have learned along his or her life? So, yeah, these are all, these are things that we can fill in. 18 plus 8. This was not applicable. We don't have any scrolls or magic wands or anything. So think of it that way. Yep, it is cheaper, Civil. Respect tests old IRC commands. Yeah, /me, right? You can use that to roleplay in here, too. Sarah tells the guard Betty Moore's allowed her to command the army and marches back home from Waterdeep. Meanwhile, I'm too involved in my masked conspiracies to bother noticing that a few thousand private guard are gone. Wizards can pay to copy spells instead of just learning them by level. Yes, that is true, too. Did everyone in this chat do this? Pretty cool. You mean by role-playing that, you mean? Clark says she just sort of chills and reads chat on my laptop when I'm on Twitch and has no context for anything. Well, hey, you know what? If Ms. Clark, if I may call you such, I'm glad that you're laughing and having fun. Context isn't even really needed. We're a bunch of storytellers and we're a bunch of people having fun. That is the primary point of D&D. To get together with friends, to laugh, to share stories and have fun, even if you don't know what's going on half the time. So, welcome to our table as well, and whether you like it or not, you're one of us now. Sarah says, my comrades, soldiers, peasants, I know you're all wondering why you're here today. She's pacing back and forth. The truth is that none of you have to stay, but those who choose to follow me must know what we're facing. The face of true evil, a plague that has brought horror and misery to our land since time immemorial. Sarah, Sarah. King uses Google to reverse search the image Clark shows me so I can track down and murder it and its family. Tycho convinces most of Sarah's soldiers to leave the service and look for mercenary work via certain means of 100% true good manipulation and a little bit of magic. So as I do need to get up and take a break, Civil, we can complete the spell book in a little bit here, but we have a lot of the basics down. We've shown where they're getting these levels, and also look, if you purchase something as a wizard, you can say like purchased or copied. Do something like copied from whatever. Copied from min-max in Port Red, and then you took the whatever flying something spell. Make notes like this. Where did you get them? Can you go back and talk to Min-Max, the wizard? And get more spells? Or you could say, bought from Hag in Swamp. And it's, whatever. It's, grow avocados. It's a really specific spell. But to certain people named Delcorn in chat, this is like anathema. But now our character bought this spell from a hag in the swamp. Grow avocados. So make notes like that. Even if you have like thaumaturgy, put a little note here if you don't already make note cards for your spells. And say, oh yeah, it's on page, whatever, on page XYZ. That way you can flip to it if you need to. Label. Label, label, label. You find the hell out of that abomination and execute it publicly for crimes against 100% true goodness. By the way, Buddha Belly, if you don't mind my asking, since you're the one who recommended this name of Efil Salc, where did you find the inspiration for this name, Buddha Belly 25? Sarah, yeah, you did roleplay. I think it was a very good speech. I do believe you deserve advantage. 2d20, 17 and 5. Look at that, Sarah. Hey, Hakora with the auto host. That's really cool, you Hakora. If you're in on this, just in case you are. Otherwise, welcome to you and your viewers. Also, we do need to come up with 2 other languages. In this case, if we're talking about someone who is maybe is a nature worshipping temple, Sylvan, Primordial. If we want to go off of Primordial and go Aquan, we could probably do that too. These are all things to think about for our characters. Buddha Belly totally just looked at a sign on my wall and it said life. Since we talked about life and death, I just did life backwards. Oh, there you go. But what about the Salc? In a Salc class backwards with less S. And another trinket. Oh, see, Buddha, you're a role player, man. You got this. You look around, you see what's there, and we now have Efil Salc. Efil Salc. Kind of he's pretty beefy for a wizard. Alright, cool. I'm going to go AFK a little bit. You all can continue to plot and murder each other. You can play the chat games we have going on, though know that I'll be AFK, so giving adventure experience points won't necessarily be a thing. And when we come back, Hermit, if you want to talk spells, we can do spells. Or Respect, we can start building a character for you, and go from there. And we'll give you a good D&D 101 lesson as all of this plotting and murder takes place around you. It's like you're in the middle of a campaign here.